I saw something very specific, and I need you to pay close attention to what I'm about to describe, because the details in this are going to confirm whether this word is for you faster than anything I could say directly. There was a woman standing in a public place, a busy space, people moving around her, conversations happening nearby, the ordinary noise of daily life filling the air around her. And she was in her own world, on her phone, laughing at something the person on the other end said, completely at ease, completely unbothered. The specific kind of peace that belongs to a person who has stopped performing okayness and simply arrived at it. She did not know she was being watched, because behind her, at a calculated distance, there was a man, and he had someone with him. And he was doing something strange. He was positioning his hands in the air very deliberately at a specific angle relative to where she was standing, and having the person with him take photographs, photograph after photograph, adjusting the angle each time, getting closer to the shot he wanted. And when I saw the photographs, they came out instantly, like old Polaroid prints developing in real time. What I saw in them was not what I knew to be true from watching the scene unfold. In the photographs, it looked like he was holding her face in his hands. It looked like his arms were around her from behind. It looked like she knew he was there, like they had come to that place together, like there was still a connection between them that was warm and present and current. None of that was true. She was alone. She came alone. She had no idea he was standing 15 feet behind her, manipulating the frame of a camera to produce the illusion of intimacy with someone who had moved on from him completely. And then he said something to the person taking the photographs that stopped me cold. He said, "Make sure you get one where she does not look too flattering." He did not just want people to think they were still together. He wanted her to look bad in the process. And then, in the final moment of that vision, I looked back at her, still on the phone, still laughing, still completely unaware, and the light caught her clothing, and she glowed. Not performed, not posed, not a response to anything happening around her. The light simply found her, naturally, effortlessly, without her doing a single thing to arrange it. And she was radiant, more beautiful in that single unguarded moment than anything a staged photograph could have captured. That is where we begin today. Because what God showed me in that vision is not just a story. It is a precise, technical, spiritual, exact description of something that is happening in your situation right now. And once you understand what it means, specifically, not generally, you are not going to be able to unsee it. And more importantly, you are not going to be afraid of it anymore. By the time this word is complete, you are going to understand 3 things you do not fully understand yet. You are going to understand what is being done to you or to your person through the manipulation of how you are being seen. You are going to understand what God has been doing in your person's interior during the season of silence. And you are going to understand what the reunion is going to look like, not just that it is coming, but the specific posture your person is carrying when they arrive, the specific thing they have that they did not have when they left. Stay with me all the way through, because there is something I'm saving for the final section of this word that is going to land differently than anything in the first half, and the person who leaves early is going to miss the most important thing. What I saw in that vision has a specific name in photography. It is called forced perspective. And I want to take just a moment to explain what that means, because the term itself is the entire spiritual message. In photography, forced perspective is a technique that uses the relationship between distance and camera angle to make 2 objects appear closer together or more connected than they actually are. The classic example is a tourist photograph where someone appears to be holding the Eiffel Tower between their fingers. The tower and the person are not close, but the framing creates an illusion of closeness that photographs convincingly. Now hear this figuratively, because this is the word. Forced perspective, used as a spiritual weapon, is the deliberate manipulation of context, framing, and selective information to make a situation appear different from reality. It controls what angle people are looking from. It hides the actual distance, It presents a narrow, carefully chosen view that produces a specific impression in the minds of anyone looking, while the truth remains hidden outside the frame. Someone in your life or in your person's life is running a forced perspective operation right now. This could be an ex. It could be someone who is removed from your life for good reason and has not accepted the removal. It could be a group of people. It could be someone in your person's orbit who has been controlling the narrative about you or about the situation. But what they're doing has a very specific shape. They're creating the illusion of proximity they don't actually have. They're trying to make others believe that the connection between you and them is still active, that the closeness is real, that the involvement is current, when the actual distance tells a different story. They're presenting photographs, so to speak, that have been framed to hide the truth. And for some of you, they're doing two things at once. They're manufacturing the false connection and trying to catch you in an unflattering moment simultaneously. They want the people who see the photograph to believe both, that you and this person are still connected, and that you are not as impressive, not as together, not as whole as the life God has been building in you actually reflects. But do you see what happened to that woman in the vision? She never defended herself. She never caught him. She never discovered what was happening and mounted a counter-narrative. She just kept living. She kept laughing. She kept being exactly who she was, and the light found her anyway. That is your instruction for this season. Stop trying to manage the narrative. Stop spending energy on the counter-argument. Stop positioning yourself in response to the frame they're trying to build. The light that God put on you is not contingent on the lie being exposed on your timeline. It is not dependent on the people around you knowing the full story immediately. The glow is not something they can photograph away from you. It is not something the forced perspective can capture or distort because it comes from an interior source that no exterior manipulation can access. The more they try to frame you unfavorably, the more the light is going to find you naturally. The more they try to manufacture proximity to something God has moved them away from, the more their own instability is going to become visible to the people watching. Because you can't run a forced perspective operation indefinitely without the distance eventually becoming undeniable. You can't keep claiming closeness to something that has clearly moved on without the movement eventually becoming undeniable. The truth has a way of coming out from behind the frame. God already saw the photograph being taken, and He already set the lighting in your favor. Now I want to shift, and I need you to be fully present for this next section, because this is the part of the word that is most directly about your person, and it is the answer to the specific prayer you have been praying in private that you haven't said out loud in public. Not the prayer for their return, something deeper than that. The prayer that goes, God, if they come back, please don't let them come back the same way they left. Because you remember what the leaving looked like, or what the last significant interaction looked like, and what you saw in them then was something that needed to change before a real reunion could be real. Pride that wouldn't yield, an unwillingness to see their own contribution to the pain, a specific emotional posture that protected them from accountability at the cost of your ability to trust the connection again. And you have been standing on the promise, while also standing on that prayer, both things true at the same time. Believing they're coming back and also believing that what needs to change in them actually has to change for the coming back to mean what it needs to mean.
God heard that prayer, and while you have been standing on the outside of the silence wondering what is happening on their end, He has been answering it, specifically, surgically, with the specific precision of a God who does not produce counterfeit repentance. Let me show you what this looks like through a specific picture. Imagine two friends, people who were genuinely close once, the kind of close that comes from real shared history and real mutual investment. And somewhere along the way, there was a significant falling out, a real break, the kind with actual damage on both sides, but where the primary fault, if you looked at it honestly, sat with one person more than the other. And that person knew it. But pride is a powerful thing, and so they held on to their position. They maintained the posture of the person who had been wronged, or at least the person who was not going to be the first one to yield. They stayed behind the wall of their own ego and let the distance grow, until something that broke through the wall. Not an argument, not pressure from the outside, something internal, a crisis, a grief, a moment where life suddenly felt too short and too uncertain for the distance to be worth what it was costing. And in that moment, the kind of moment that strips away the performance and leaves only what is actually true, the person with the pride arrived at a place of genuine reckoning. They saw what their actions had produced in the person they hurt. They felt the weight of it, not the managed, controlled awareness of it, the actual weight. And they wrote a letter. Not a short message, not a carefully worded text designed to restore access without requiring full vulnerability. A real letter, a long one that said, "I see what I did. I understand what it cost you. I am not coming to you assuming you're going to receive me. I am coming to you because it is the right thing to do, and because I am done letting my pride cost me any more of what matters." And the person who received that letter, the one who had built a wall specifically because they had been hurt specifically, did something that required its own kind of courage. They opened the door. That is the picture God put in front of me for your situation. Your person is at the moment of writing the letter, or they have written it in their spirit and are building the courage to deliver it. And the God who has been working in their interior during this entire season of silence has been doing the specific work that brings a person from the posture of self-protection to the posture of genuine accountability. It is not a fast process. It does not happen in a conversation or a week. It happens through sustained exposure to the consequences of pride, through the specific loneliness of the wilderness, through the accumulating cost of the distance, through the specific moments when the haunting reminders of what they walked away from broke through the constructed normalcy of their daily life. They have been choosing the humility. It is not finished, but it is happening. Now I want you to notice something about how the Coldplay song "In My Place" describes this interior state, because the Lord kept pressing these specific lyrics into my spirit, and I want you to hear them as the current interior monologue of your person. In my place were lines that I couldn't change. I was lost, crossed lines I shouldn't have crossed. That's your person right now, in the interior, in the private, in the moments when no one else can hear them thinking. They are not positioning, they are not strategizing. They are in a genuine reckoning with the lines they crossed and the loss that produced. And then the chorus, "How long must you wait for it? How long must you pay for it?" That's them seeing the cost of the waiting they put you through. Not abstractly, specifically. They are asking the question on your behalf because God has given them enough self-awareness to understand that the waiting was not free for you, that every day of the silence had a price, that you have been paying a cost that you did not cause. And then, and this is the part that should give you the most peace, if you give away, if you go and leave me down here on my own, then I'll wait for you. They are not coming back to pressure you into a specific timeline of reception. They are coming back to offer the apology and then give you the space to receive it on your terms. The grace they failed to offer you during the hurt is the grace they're prepared to offer you during the healing. They have learned what they should have known before, and the learning came the hard way, but it came. This is what I want you to hold on to. The apology is going to feel different from anything you have received from this person before, because it's coming from a different place in them than anything they have offered before. It is not going to be the apology that is designed to restore access quickly. It is going to be the apology that is designed to tell the truth about what happened, regardless of how it's received. That specific quality, the willingness to be honest without controlling the outcome, is what genuine accountability looks and feels like.
and you are going to recognize it when it arrives because it is going to feel unlike anything they have done before. And when it arrives, I want to speak to what your posture needs to be, because this is the part of prophetic words about reunion that most people skip over and almost everyone needs. You have been building walls for good reason. The walls were wisdom. The walls were the appropriate response to what happened and the appropriate protection for what God has been building in you during the waiting. But walls that were built for the person they were, applied to the person they are becoming, can block a genuine reversal that you prayed for. This does not mean demolish everything immediately. It does not mean no questions. It does not mean trust is restored in one conversation. Trust is rebuilt through demonstrated behavior over time, and you are allowed, you are right to require that demonstration. But be willing to receive the letter. Be willing to sit in the conversation. Be willing to let the apology land rather than immediately protecting yourself from being hurt by something that is trying to be different. The God who answered your prayer about how they would come back is not in the business of sending you counterfeit repentance. What he produces is real, and when the real arrives, it deserves the specific generosity of a person who prayed for exactly this. Now, let me bring you to the scripture at the center of this entire word. I want you to come to it slowly because it's one of those passages that most people have read many times and absorbed as a general principle without ever receiving it as a specific and immediate word for their specific situation. Today, I want you to receive it as the specific theological framework for exactly what has been happening in your person's spirit during this entire season of silence. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. I want to unpack 4 specific words or phrases in this verse because each one is a direct word for where things stand right now. The first is humble yourselves. This is active. This is chosen. This is not something that happens to a person involuntarily as a result of external pressure alone. Humbling oneself is the deliberate personal decision to come down from the posture of self-protection and self-sufficiency and self-justification, and to position oneself under the authority and the direction of something larger than the self. And what God is telling me is that your person has been arriving at this choice through the specific process of a season that targeted the specific places where their pride was strongest, through the loneliness of the wilderness, through the accumulating cost of the distance, through the specific moments when the haunting reminders of what they walked away from broke through the constructed normalcy of their daily life. They have been choosing the humility. It is not finished, but it is happening. The second is under God's mighty hand, not under your hand, not under social pressure, not under the observations of the people around them who can see that they have been in a wilderness of their own making. Under God's mighty hand, which means this is direct divine work. This is God personally and specifically reaching into the interior of your person's life and doing the kind of recalibration that no human engineering could produce. It is thorough. It is reaching the parts of the pride that external pressure has never been able to access. It is producing genuine change because the person doing it can see exactly where the change needs to happen. The third is lift you up, not maintain you, not restore you to the previous state, lift you up. The movement that follows the humbling is not a return to the previous state. It is an elevation to something the previous state could not accommodate. The humbling of your person is not just the restoration of what was lost. It is the elevation of what God always intended for this union to reach. And the fourth, the one I want you to hold most tightly, is in due time.
In due time, at the right time, at the appointed time, at the specific moment that God has been working toward since the first day of the separation. Not your timeline,
Not the timeline the impatience of the waiting suggested it should be, but the due time, the time that produces the most complete and most durable outcome, because everything that needed to be done in both of you before the reunion could carry the weight of the promise has been done. Your person is being humbled under God's mighty hand right now. In due time, which is now, they are about to be lifted, and the lifting is going to bring them directly to where you are standing. Drop cross in the comments right now if this word is landing for you, because I want to see who is receiving this today, and I want you to see the company you are in. Now let me close this word with the most important declaration I want to leave you with. The forced perspective being run against you has already failed, not because you exposed it, not because you mounted a defense, not because the people around you figured out the truth before the damage was done, but because the light that God placed on you during this season is not something that can be framed out of a photograph. It is an interior light produced by faithfulness in the dark, by prayer in the silence, by the specific decision to keep standing on a promise when every visible indicator suggested the promise was not going to arrive. That light is on you right now, and your person who has been watching from a distance through the specific vantage point of someone who left something real and has been living with the full weight of what that cost, your person has been seeing it too. They have seen you glowing without them, and initially the enemy used that glow against the reunion, the way forced perspective uses distance to manufacture a false impression, trying to convince them that the glow meant you had moved on and that the door was permanently closed. But God kept engineering the reminders. He kept surfacing you in the places they were trying to forget you. He kept making the specific ache of your absence louder than the narrative the enemy was trying to establish. And the combination of the haunting and the humbling has brought your person to the threshold. They are at the Jordan River. The wilderness is behind them. The promised land, which includes you, which includes the union, which includes the specific future God attached to both of you before either of you understood the full scope of it, is on the other side of the crossing, and they are standing at the edge of the water with a humility they did not have when they left, and they are about to get their feet wet. When the apology comes, and it is coming, receive it, not naively, not without the wisdom you have built through everything this season required of you, but with the specific generosity of a person who prayed for exactly this version of their return and is now holding it. Let the letter land. Let the conversation happen. Let the genuine reckoning that God produced in them be received as the genuine reckoning it is. Because what God joined together, He is still joining, and what He is building from the humbled version of your person and the formed version of you is something neither of you could have built before the separation happened. The letter is being written. The Jordan is about to be crossed, and the light that has been on you this entire time is the first thing they are going to see when they arrive. If this message found you at exactly the right moment, if something in your spirit has been saying yes throughout this entire message, I want you to do one thing right now while that recognition is still alive. Subscribe, not for this channel, as a declaration that you are still holding the promise, that the forced perspective did not move you from what God said, that the silence did not silence the knowing, that you are prepared to receive the return with open hands and a discerning heart. And share this word with one person you know who has been praying not just for their person to come back, but for them to come back different. That person needs to hear this today. God put your person in their place, and their place is at the edge of the Jordan, humbled, ready, coming to you with something in their hands that is worth every single day of the waiting you have been standing in. The letter is written, the river is parting, and the light has been on you the whole time. And if this message spoke to something real in you today,
I have 2 more videos on this channel that were made for exactly the season you are in right now. They are on your screen right now. Watch them back to back and let God speak to you through all 3. I will see you in the next one.